Australia's biggest commercial office tower in Parramatta Square was always going to need some big art. Today it was unveiled. It's the largest Australian-made tapestry in decades.
Looming large, very large, in the lobby of one of our newest towers, an ancient art form.
One of the great works here in Australia.
11.5 metres wide, 7 metres tall, adorning 6 Parramatta Square.
We wanted to do a tapestry, and this was, probably the place to do a significant piece.
It was 14 weavers working for 18 months.
With 171 different colours and more than 200 kilograms of Australian wool.
They are amongst the best in the world, and I think it shows.
To finally see it up on a grand scale is, I was just stunned.
Based on Chris Kenyon's painting, 1/10 the size.
My vision was of what Parramatta, this scene would have looked like a couple of 100 years ago.
Blue mountains in the background, cooking fire nearby, representing the original Parramattagal people. Australia's biggest tapestry in 35 years, second only in size to this one in federal parliament, which has a tree bending to the left. In tribute, Parramatta's has one bending to the right. It is so big that they didn't have the space to create it as one piece. They actually had to do it as two halves that were only finally joined together when they were putting it up there.
And that's where it always gets a little bit nerve-wracking. The magic of those weavers, it worked perfectly.
Paul Caddock, 7 News.
In days of old, a story could be woven into history with a tapestry hanging on a castle wall. Fortunately, the art has not been lost and forgotten. You really only have to go to Parramatta.
It is 1/4 of a tonne of impressionism in merino wool. Called Parramatta, 11.5 metres wide by 7 long, the biggest art commission in the medium of tapestry since Arthur Boyd's Vista of Gums in Parliament's Great Hall.
The weavers can work with any artist or architect in any mediums.
And over 18 months on 2 separate looms, 13 of the country's best weavers have realised the vision of artist Chris Kenyon.
I figured you're the artist, you're wearing the beret.
That's right. And it's my impression of what Parramatta, I thought, would have looked like, a couple of 100 years ago.
From the original painting, those charged with bringing it to life in wool would do so in 171 colours and on a scale of 1 to 100.
They're at the looms, and they're also stepping back on a regular basis to see how a tapestry will work mid-range and long-range.
It's hanging space deliberately created during construction of the $3.2 billion Parramatta Square redevelopment.
We just want openness, and that allows us to put sculptures, paintings, all sorts of artwork there.
And opposite, artefacts both Indigenous and colonial, found as the foundations were forged for the project.
If they didn't have Parramatta, mate, Sydney Cove would have starved.
Yeah, that's right. It was all that sandstone down there and nothing would grow.
Mike Dalton, 9 News.